So this video is about the 3 metabolic types and their 10 subtypes. I've been talking about keto being the best nutritional solution for reversing cancer and for many disease processes. I've done it a lot over the course of my videos. And the reality is not, and I do mention it in my keto video, that you can't just simply jump onto it in a lot of cases. And if you've ever wondered why some people thrive on a high-fat diet while others feel sluggish after a high-fat meal. So Dr. Kelley from One Answer to Cancer identified different metabolic types, each requiring a unique approach to diet and healing. So if you've ever struggled with keto in the past, it might not just be the diet, it could be how your body processes food. So in this video, we'll break down the metabolic types into 3 main groups and their subtypes. We'll explore what foods work best for each and to show how to transition toward a keto diet using targeted supplementation and nutrition from both the ones that I offer on our website, Biotics and Blueprint, so that you can get the support and healing optimal. Because again, keto is the best, but if you can't process that, we got to teach your body how to get to that. And I do talk about this in keto a lot more in depth. I'm going to try to talk to each one of these individually, but just some more specific examples of what to look for before you start processing a keto diet so that you can get to that point and start feeling better. Let's overview the 3 main ones. So Dr. Kelley classified people into 3 main metabolic groups based on how their nervous system and metabolism function together. So group A are fast oxidizers, sympathetic dominant. They burn through food quickly, they tend to have high energy, and are prone to anxiety, stress, and inflammation. Group B are slow oxidizers. They are parasympathetic dominant. They process food slowly, often feeling sluggish, fatigued, and struggling with digestion. And then group C are balanced oxidizers. They're a mix of both systems, requires a more varied dietary approach. So each group has subtypes that determine how your body reacts to different foods. Understanding this can make all the difference in successfully transitioning into a keto diet. So let's go over the different types. I'm going to start with our slow oxidizers, so our vegetarian types. So type 1, they need no animal products at all. They can live entirely on fruits, vegetables, and nuts. Type 4, they need some animal products such as fish, chicken, eggs, and unpasteurized goat cheese several times a week. And then type 6, they are a combination of types 1 and 4, but they have horrible metabolism. They need more food to make up for the lack of absorption. Next is carnivore type. So type 2 needs meat up to 14 ounces a day, preferably beef, has little or no energy unless they eat meat. Type 5, they need meat to feel good, but less often, perhaps 2 to 3 times a week. And then type 7, again, a cross between 2 and 5, but with a horrible metabolism. So again, they have a processing issue. They need the meat and they need the beef and the protein, but they're not able to adequately absorb it. And then let's go to type C, the balanced types. So type 3 has horrible metabolism. They only absorb about 15% of what he or she eats, feel so bad that they often wish they were dead. Type 8, they have a normal balanced metabolism. They can benefit from all foods provided they are wholesome. Type 9, they need 70% cooked food in diet. They hate raw food. And then type 10, they're a super efficient metabolizer. They need very little food and sleep, and they feel amazing even after that. So that is read directly from Dr. Kelley's One Answer to Cancer. And so what I'll be doing is I will list in this description a set of signs and symptoms for each group, types A, B, and C, so that you can kind of narrow down. And then based on that, look at what I just said and about the 10 different types and see what most aligns with you based on your symptoms and kind of what you get every day and when you feel the most. If you are in type A, for instance, and all those symptoms align with you, or many of them do, many of them more than the other ones anyway, and you look at the 3 subtypes, read through those, test it out, see what's going to give you the most energy, when do you have the least amount of energy. So that's how you narrow down those types. But how do we switch from any of these types moving into keto. Now, type B, the carnivores, they are obviously, much better off. They can transition to keto very, very easily. But again, there's still some types that have a processing issue. So this is where our gut program comes into play, because what we first need to do is fix our gut's digestive process, balance out the pH. We've already talked about pH in this, so we want to get all of that working the way it's supposed to, so that you are digesting the way that you should be, so that you are absorbing the way that you should be, and then you are utilizing those nutrients the way that you should be. So if you can't do any of those three, there is a gut health issue. So if you fall into any of those types and you're sitting there thinking before you watch this video, you know what, my body just does not do well with high-fat diets. Well, that's because there's a processing issue. It's not because it's a genetic thing. You may be genetically predisposed to having difficulty with that, but that doesn't mean you have to be. Genetic expression is often determined by our environment. What kind of stress are we dealing with? What are we putting into our body on a daily basis? Have there been any conditions or disease processes I have suffered from? Have I been through an accident that has changed my genetic expression? Have I had a concussion before, which will change our neurology? So our gut program is huge, and there's a lot of stuff related to inflammation and leaky gut. That's the first phase, is we want to decrease the amount of inflammation in the body, eliminating certain foods at once. And we focus on being a little bit more well-balanced during the gut program, and making sure that you're kind of getting a variety of all of them. Again, you might notice that you start having more energy from the start with certain foods over the others. We have a wide variety of recipes, and you can kind of test out what works best for you based on the group type that you classify yourself as to what you want to kind of start with. But as you go through the process, and again, if you're not sure where to start, go to my self-testing video or book a virtual appointment with me, and I will walk you through it. So go through the step-by-step process of figuring out, okay, what kind of inflammation am I dealing with? What kind of group do I fall into? Start there, and then start moving closer and closer to that keto diet. And you might not even get to it until you completely finish the gut program. And that can range anywhere from 2.5 months to 4.5 months. But the first phase is decrease the inflammation, get rid of any overgrown infections like bacteria, fungus, parasites. Let's get it all out of the body so that our body can start moving to a more relaxed parasympathetic state, which is where the amount of processing and digestion really happens. Our rest digest happens in our parasympathetic mode, not in our sympathetic mode. Which brings us to phase 2, detox and de-stress. We've already talked about detoxing throughout these videos. We need to get rid of the absorption of heavy metals our body has accumulated into our body, and get rid of it safely while keeping the cells intact. We want to calm down our adrenals, again, moving our body to that parasympathetic stage. High adrenal release, high adrenal function, or adrenal fatigue can lead to an increase in the types of hormones that can increase inflammation in the body and lead to a disruption in our ability to, 1, digest, and 2, to break down certain hormones. Next phase, last phase, is regrow and replenish. There is a good normal gut flora that belong in our body. There is a set of immune function that we want to have, and so we want to replenish our body with the good, healthy nutrients it needs to function and get to a point where our immune system is not having abnormal reactions to foods. So that, again, we're processing better, we're not causing inflammation in the body, and then go from there. When it comes to supplements that you may need, outside of that, people who do not have a gallbladder, if you don't have a gallbladder, you're going to have difficulty processing fats. So we want to make sure you can do that. So we have a supplement called Beta Plus. It kind of acts like a gallbladder so that you can digest those fats naturally. So that can always help if you don't have a gallbladder. If you do have a gallbladder and you feel like you're having difficulty processing fats, one addition I would throw into this program is Beta TCP. Beta TCP helps stimulate gallbladder function. Again, we also want to look at the pancreas. Pancreas has all the enzymes you need to break down fats and proteins. So you want to make sure you're looking at stuff like our enzymes or our acetylcholine pan that I recommended in the past. These are some great additions additions that you can do. If you're suffering from thyroid issues, then we have a really great one. C Synergy is really good. You also might want to check for a deficiency in tyrosine. Tyrosine is the T in T3 and T4 of the thyroid. So making sure you're getting that, and so that your metabolism is working throughout this whole process. If you have fibromyalgia, you're going to need a little bit more to calm you down. We have a great supplement called Fibro. It's a combination of magnesium and a few other different nutrients. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but they're a really great supplement for calming the body down, calming down your nervous system, so it gets into that rest, digest, heal phase more than anything else. So our gut program tend to be where I would recommend starting. So if you do not have the processing capacity to move to keto as someone who's suffering from cancer, then our gut program is where you want to start. It'll help reset the body to move you into that phase where you will be able to process that better and really help your body fight off the cancer. Thanks for listening.